Okay, man. I finally kind of got this to work, so I'm just gonna kind of screen record. I may have to bust it up because it'll be potentially a big file. But I'm just gonna screen record this, and so we should be able to get this done. I should be able to get this over to you tonight. And I've got a couple things I can send you to tonight, so you guys can watch it and look at it and stuff too. So I just want you to watch these two. These two swings. We'll watch the rollover, and then we'll watch the other one. And first of all, don't worry about the rollover or anything like that. It's no big deal. It actually makes it easier to see stuff when you don't hit it perfectly. So don't worry about that. So let's just watch both of them through, and then we'll kind of talk about like some things that are good and some things that you can work on. So there's a couple of things just to start, right? So man, like you do a couple of things really, really well naturally, right? So like I'm gonna show you how you get into. So that move right there is really good. Okay, so it's really good because you're trying to. So right there, that move right there is really good. Because you got that L shape, you got that 90-degree shape that you can work with, and so what that does is that keeps you attached to your ribs, and it allows you to turn to the ball, right? And your whole body's incorporated, right? Okay, so that's really good. That's a really good natural move. It's kind of like what you would call in slot or in plane, right? And you're trying to match the plane of the ball, which is awesome. Okay. But so we'll go through this, right? And you see how you're so watch the Blue Jays on the front of your jersey, okay? So it's wanting to turn, right? Your body's wanting to turn around your axis, which is your spine, right there, almost where your jersey is splitting. You see that? So your body's wanting to turn around that spine, right? But you turn till you get about right here. Okay, and then you start getting what I would call handsy or pushy, right? So watch this. This is going to look like a push motion right here. So push, 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 push. Okay, so we want to be careful when we get pushy, because then now the only thing that we have to hit the ball is our hands or our wrist flick, our wrist roll. So watch now. I know you're a little bit out front, which is no big deal. You just missed it because your timing was off a little bit. Okay, which isn't a big deal. But now watch, once you get into this spot, watch the only thing that your hands or that you can really do. Okay, so watch, you're going to get here, then flick. Okay, that's all you can really do is roll those wrists right there. You see how like there's not much action through the ball, right? So you're here, right? But then now, so watch here, there's not much action. You get here and then finish. All right, and then it disappears, right? The barrel's going behind you. It's going behind, because they're just flicking the wrist, okay? So we'll watch on the second clip. Okay, it's a little bit better, but see how, like, now the only thing that you have is that move. That's all you have right there. Because as strong as you are, man, like, you should be able to hit this ball on top of that building over there. Okay, so, but when the only thing we have that's hitting the ball or making contact with the ball is that movement right there, we're never going to hit the ball super, 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 super hard. Okay, so let me pause this. I'm going to make sure so it's not too big of a file. Okay, man, so we're back over here. Okay, so what we want to do is, so like watch the Blue Jays, okay, the front of the jersey, and then watch the back of the jersey. Okay, so what it wants to do, what if you watch the pros, right? Anybody that you really like watching, so the Blue Jays and the name on the back, right, will switch places, right? So as they make contact with the ball and they finish, right, they should be switched places, right? So let's watch yours. I'm gonna kind of play it forward a little bit slower. Okay, we'll actually go to the next clip. Okay. So watch the Blue Jays, watch the name, okay? So it starts to turn, but then look, now the hands and the elbow is turning, instead of letting the chest and the belly button and that turn it right. So you make contact and watch. You see the holiday right there? It never gets all the way around. It wants to. Do you see that move? It's trying to get around, right? And you feel like you're off balance. That's why you kick your leg out. But what your body's really trying to do is get all the way around to the ball, right? So essentially, we want to pivot. We want those movements to be towards the ball, okay, and even towards where the ball's coming from, right? And so like you want to let your stomach and your obliques and your ribs take the bat to the ball instead of getting here and then now the bat gets into the hands and all we have is a flick. Does that make sense? Okay. So, and another thing too. So watch as so you get into slot here, right? And so usually when we get into slot, we want that first move to be into the zone. So it would be into the hitting zone. So your first move is towards kind of like second base. And it's almost like towards first base, right? And so like it's kind of towards first base, which is fine, right? You're staying short, but the problem is now you're not in the zone until in between here and here, which is probably right in in between your legs, right? Which the problem is now you can't maximize your misses or your mistakes, right? So we want that turn to, as soon as we get into slot, we want our chest and our hip and our rib cage to turn the bat to the ball, right? Turn the bat to the ball instead of trying to be perfect with the hands, right? Because the only problem with using just your hands is that it really just depends on how good you can flick your wrist and how strong your forearms are, right? And so what we want to do is we want to actively use our whole upper body, right? Which, because they're being used, but we want to actively use them, right, as we hit the ball. Because right now the only thing that's really being actively used is the hands, right? And this ball just kind of flares over the first baseman's head, when in reality you probably could have hit it over that building that's right on the right field fence. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this one, then we'll pick it back up in just a second. So now let's watch this just like full speed, okay, so you can kind of see what we're talking about played out in live speed. Okay, here we go. And see how it looks like you're having to put a lot of effort into hitting these balls well. With as big and as strong as you are, you shouldn't have to put a lot of effort into it, right? Like it looks like you're just having to be so fine and so perfect to hit those balls, right? And you're strong. You're a strong guy. Like you should be able to crush these balls if you use your whole body, right? And so that's one of the pitfalls of just using your hands or just using your wrists or your forearms, right? Like, and I'll send you some film of Cody Bellinger, right? But Cody Bellinger never does this move right here ever, because he goes with his chest, right? Okay, and he doesn't have to worry about this, because his chest and his back and his ribs and his obliques and his stomach muscles are way stronger than his wrists ever could be. Okay, so let me go grab that film of Bellinger, and then I'll send you a couple drills you can do with that too. Okay, so hold on just a second, man.